Hi guys, I'm Tom
And I'm Casey.
from Atypical Origins. Today we wanted to do a little introduction video for our YouTube. We're going to go over a few questions that we were asked to answer. We're going to go over some of our pairings this year. And most importantly, we're going to go over how we got into ball pythons and became Atypical Origins.
So, as a couple, now what, 12 or
2000
13 years ago?
Longer than that, honey. It was like, I think 2005 when we first got.
So, like 2005, we got our first two ball pythons. We didn't breed, we just kept as pets. And then I got pregnant with TJ, and we listened to everybody that said that we shouldn't have our snakes, so we got rid of them. Fast forward sometime, TJ asked for a snake, so we got him a ball python, little Enchi ball python, and she didn't make it very long, so we were all kind of a little discouraged, but he kept asking for another one.
At the time, he was watching a lot of Brian Barczyk videos and mutation creation videos, so he was pretty into it.
So he kept bugging us. So then we got our girl Poppy, our albino, and we all fell in love, and she did very, very well. Then we went down to South Carolina to visit some family and went to a Repticon there.
Came home with 4 more.
We did. We came home with 4 more snakes. And lots and lots of knowledge on breeding, and after some talking with TJ, some convincing from TJ, we decided that it would be an awesome idea and an awesome investment for his future and Logan's to start breeding. So here we are.
And the name Atypical Origins comes from, as most of you already know, anybody who follows us on Instagram, Logan, our middle child, is autistic. And then the Origins is kind of fit in because, again, it was TJ who wanted us to do this, our oldest son. And so when we were going through names, we had like 6 different names that we were like both okay with, and we just had to pick one. And we went through and talked about why we liked them, and we decided that, again, because how it fit with our story, TJ wanting us to start the hobby was atypical in itself because, he was 12 at the time, so it just kind of all played nicely together, and so we decided on that.
So Atypical Origins, the family voted on, and here we are. And we do have to thank Brandon from Asylum for doing our logo for us. He did an amazing job, and we absolutely love it. He definitely took my idea and brought it to life. I think that is Atypical. Question. Advice you tell someone getting into the hobby. For me, I have a few things that I tend to go to and tell people. One is have a plan for your breeding. Kind of a mistake that we made in the beginning, but definitely know what genes you like, and have some goals. We were kind of all over the place. He just bought whatever was pretty, and most of them tended to be males.
So did you.
Yes. So that brings me to my next one, is don't buy too many males.
We think, in our opinion, and our opinion came from advice that was given to us by people with much more wealth of knowledge than we have, that you want to be about, a 1-to-3 ratio, male to female, if possible. So that's what we try to do now.
Yes, it is. We went through a period of really going through our collection and getting rid of things that we didn't really have a use for. They were pretty, but they didn't fit in with our plans. And most of them were males. So it seems to be a common trend, because males are cheaper. It's easy to overbuy. But I say definitely invest in your projects. If that means start smaller and then grow, do that. But what Tom had said, with talking to other people, that kind of brings me into the third thing that I tell people is find a mentor to help you along the way. Just someone that
Sorry, honey. One or multiple, because there's quite a few people that I, myself, just me, go to with, questions and issues and advice, and it's been invaluable. I mean, if it wasn't from if I didn't have the advice from some of these people, I would have all fucked up.
He'd still be buying males nonstop, and our plans wouldn't be as streamlined now. But definitely, a good mentor or multiple mentors will help you along your way, answer questions for you, and kind of help you see where it is that you want to go, help you streamline your ideas and really focus in on it.
Yeah, if you find the right mentor, they should, be able to help you kind of find your path and what you want to do to some extent. Obviously, we all have our own general idea of the things we want to make, the genes we want to work with. It's just a matter of is narrowing that down to a more specific path, and talking with, a mentor of some sort, and telling them what you like, some of the things you want to produce down the road. They will guide you to, the right animals, and stuff like that to get you going down the right path.
Yeah. And this community is absolutely amazing. So you find your group, you find your people, and you run with it. Next question. Expenses of snakes. Like, what goes into this?
So the expenses, again, it's going to play into the genetics, the morphs that you want to work with. That's going to play a big factor. Feeding, medical, veterinary bills, substrates, racks. There's a million different things that go into it, and
who would have thought, right?
Yeah, who would have thought? We didn't realize that, as you got so big, that there was quite so many expenses, and one of the biggest things is feeding. Feeding, if you're not producing your own rats and you have really more than 10, 20 animals, it's very expensive.
Yeah, no, we got to about 20 snakes before it was like, wow, like our expense on feeding every week was insane. And so from there we decided that we needed to invest in breeding our own rats.
And once we decided that and started looking into it and stuff, it was still about 20 snakes later before we actually started breeding our own. And when we were at between 40 and 50 snakes, our weekly rat bill was right around $140, I want to say. I think the most it ever tipped at was about $170. As a weekly expense, that is a lot of money.
Well, not only that, because at that time too, we had not just the snakes, but we also had the leopard geckos. So we were feeding and all that stuff. They're not too expensive, but yeah, no, our bill got quite
unreasonable.
Yes. So now we are up to 14 breeding colonies with our rats, and we have 2 breeding colonies of ASFs. And we will probably expand more.
Yeah, sometime soon we'll expand more. We haven't had to supplement in a while on feed days. This week we're a little low on some of the small rats for some of our adult snakes. So we'll probably be adding some more colonies. It's really not a hard thing to do. It is time consuming. In a lot of ways it's a little more time consuming than keeping the snakes themselves.
Aside from feeding bills, other expenses.
Racks are expensive.
Racks. Invest in your racks.
For an adult size tub, figure paying anywhere from $75 to $100 per tub for a rack. So if you're buying a 10 tub PVC rack, figure you're probably going to pay probably about $600. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on where you get from, and other factors, what tubs, but that's a pretty good baseline. Hatchling and grow up tubs are a little cheaper per level per rack.
I was just gonna say, you need to definitely think about your snakes growing up. Invest in the equipment that's going to house them along the way. So that is expensive also.
When you're starting out with one rack and you're getting your thermostat for it, and you're like, I don't need a herpstat 4 because I only have one rack. Well, you're gonna wind up with more racks, and even if you don't, if you have an issue go wrong on your herpstat on one of them, you still have 3 others to use because they're all independent of each other. So right there, it's kind of a lifesaver in itself, and you kind of gotta think ahead. Everything you do in this hobby business, you have to try and think ahead a few steps. We failed at that terribly in the beginning, but now we're pretty proficient at it.
We're getting there. Another thing is your incubator. We got, ours isn't huge. It's got a couple levels in it. It was absolutely wonderful for what we did our first season because we only had 2 clutches. But this season we are going to need another one because we are about, right now we have 10 pairings, and then the possibility, as long as our females grow and do the things that they need to do as well, anywhere up to 20 pairings this year.
I would say our range this year will be, if I was to say, would be 20 to 20, or probably let's say 15 to 25 clutches, up from 2 last year. So if all goes well anyway.
We will have to invest in another incubator. So definitely think about like what your plans are. Maybe go with your 5-year plan. How many clutches do you want to be producing in 5 years? And then buy according to that. definitely invest. It is not cheap, but it is what needs to be done. Let's see.
Any other questions?
Yeah, our favorite morphs. Mojave.
I would say Mojave and Clown are probably my two favorite. And add an Orange Ghost in there for my top three.
Oh gosh, it's so hard to pick just one morph because there are so many and they are all absolutely gorgeous.
So I gave 3, honey.
Yes, I am obsessed with leopard. Leopard is wonderful in just about anything you put it to.
That it is.
I don't know. Clown has grown on me. I like my Batmans, which is a project that we will be working hard on. And I like my ghost stuff. I think we can agree on that. I like the ghost, I like Clown. And leopard. Let's see.
Do bites hurt? Yes and no. You're getting bit by something. It's got teeth. Depending on the size of the snake, depends on the level of pain and also, your pain tolerances and things like that. I've been bit by, but I think the biggest snake I've been bit by was about 15 to 1,600 grams, and he bit my wrist while he was already wrapped around my arm and held on for a little while, dripping blood all over the place. Didn't hurt though. A little bit of pinching, but overall, no. In my opinion, it doesn't really hurt. I still jump every time a snake goes to bite me. It's just a reaction. It's a natural reaction. Sooner or later, maybe I won't, but for now I do.
And then he buys the ones that bite him.
Yes, and I've literally bought every snake that's bitten me.
So, for me, I think I'm used to getting bit. Now I do most of the feeding, and there are definitely times where they miss the rat and get me instead. And it all depends on the size of the snake, where they get me. Because I have gotten bit in between the fingers, and that sucks. But then there's times where they get me on like my hand or on my finger, and it's a scratch. It doesn't hurt very much. So yeah, all depends. Next question. Recommended people to follow for people new to the hobby.
So we've got, I would say we have a pretty comprehensive list from old school, big shot breeders to, small time breeders, around our size.
And people that have been in the hobby a while, haven't really bred, but just started.
So
our go-tos, your go-tos.
So on that question, we'll try and tag everybody in the description down below that we mentioned here. So for me, we'll start out kind of at the top. Billion for Mutation Creation has helped me immensely on a few different occasions, from everything from advice on eggs that we were worried about that were dehydrated to helping me figure out how I should manage the collection that we originally had, and hence how we wound up downsizing our males and having a much better male to female ratio. And he's helped us immensely forward our clown project.
Yes.
Any of the Mutation Creation crew as well. They've all helped in some fashion.
Austin is great for IDing snakes that you have questions on.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Elias, Lord Lion, is he's a whiz with the electronics too, and the videos and all that. And then I would say again, Chris from the Reptile Ward.
Yes.
He's been a huge help. Anytime you have a question, he's always there to give you a wealth of knowledge, and he's just all around good guy. Dave Hardy, absolutely one of the nicest people in the hobby. Makes amazing animals, and he's pretty open to answering questions if you have them, and kind of can't beat that.
No. For me, Dave is definitely one of my go-tos. But like my favorite people, Nick and Jules from Nivial. They are definitely some of my go-tos when I have questions or for anything really. And then I have Brad and Lacey from Voodoo Balls.
Absolutely.
Gosh, there's so many people, and it sucks.
Yeah, we could make a whole video about people that we would recommend you to follow and pay attention to. The hobby today is just so great with the people that are a part of it and the people that you deal with. Anywhere from shows to social media. Maybe not so much on Facebook social media, but Instagram and
Instagram's where it's at.
But the wealth of knowledge that you have access to just by hitting the send message button. People have been incredibly helpful to us and other people we know as well. So I don't know.
I mean, let's see, in our little circle, there's Chad from Richie's Recessives, Janae from Angel's Ball Pythons. She's gonna do amazing things.
She is.
She's young and she is
smart
and
driven.
Definitely one to talk to.
I mean, literally, we could make a whole video about this.
We really could. So we'll leave it at that. But definitely check those guys out. All right. So we'll go over some of the pairings that we're going to do this year. As of right now, we have 10 pairings that we've done so far, like I said. Some of our favorites have to be with our pastel banana Mojave clown. And he has been paired with our GHI and our fire leopard spot nose het clown, which is going to be my most anticipated clutch. What's yours?
That's probably mine. And
I figured
later this year pairing with the other, with the pastel Batman.
All right, well, we'll go over that. So, and then we have our Coral Glow Spider to our Black Pewter female. We also have our Albino Black Pastel to our original, what got us started, Poppy, our Albino. And then he is also being paired with a Black Pastel Het Albino, which I think that's TJ's most anticipated clutch. He wants some blizzards.
I don't think it is.
You don't think so?
Then we have our Vanilla Scream male that's been paired to our Fire Enchi. My Cypress Het Ghost that was paired to our Pinstripe.
And then our Leopard Fire going to our Roma female, which I'm excited for that. It's not a crazy pairing, but I'm excited for that one.
Then we have our Black Pewter Cypress going to our Big Fire Girl. We have our Pastel Yell Belly Clown going to our Yellow Belly Lemon Blast.
Who was also paired with our lesser spot nose clown.
Yeah, we're gonna dual sire a clutch.
So we'll see what we get out of that one.
And then we have some pairings that will be ready throughout the year. Luckily, we have some girls that are not quite there yet that will be ready later on in the season.
And then just a couple that are a lot closer than the other ones that we'll tell you guys about. So we have, let's see, my Chimera female, who is Orange Dream, Butter, Fire, Spider, and Pin. And she will probably go to our Black Pewter Cypress or the Yellow Belly Clown. Haven't decided yet. Maybe you guys can drop a comment below and tell us what you think we should do with our pairings on the ones that haven't paired yet. Then I'm excited for her, is my Pewter Orange Ghost. And she will either go to our Huffman Het Ghost or our Mojave Orange Ghost.
Then, of course, we have our Pastel Batman female that later on in the year will either go to the same Pastel Banana Mojave Clown that our Het Batman female went to, or to our Pastel Yellow Belly Clown. Not really 100% sure yet, but we'll see.
And then a couple more that are up and coming.
And then we have our Pastel Creed Het Pied female going to our Banana Pied male. That should be a pretty nice little pairing. That's actually, I'm not a pied guy, and I'm actually pretty excited for that pairing.
I like the pieds.
So hopefully that'll finish winning me over. I love our Banana Pied, but still hasn't done it for me yet.
And then another pairing that I'm excited about, just because both of these snakes came from Brad and Lucy from Voodoo Balls. Our Cinnamon Champagne female, Little Miss Peach, she's going to go to Sebastian, our Pewter Mojave. Not a crazy pairing, but it means something to us.
Yeah, it should be something nice anyway. It'll still be
It should be
very
awesome.
nice.
And we'll keep you guys informed on any
Very
other
nice
pairings that
pairing.
come up. But those are the ones that we've done and ones that are up and coming in the next few months.
And I think that's it for now, guys. So please drop us a comment and tell us how we did on our first video. Anything you'd like us to change. I'm sure there's going to be some things. We're both right now, I'm pretty sure think we did terrible.
We did. It was terrible.
But please leave us some comments. Tell us what you would like us to change. Anything else you'd like us to do a video on. And then please hit the subscribe button. Give us a follow and
Subscribe.
like the video.
Turn on those notifications. Comment below. All those good things. We'll see you next time, guys.